The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. It doesn't matter where you're at. Could be wearing a fez in Morocco or having a Long Island tea, maybe somewhere out south. Does not matter as long as you're here at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on? Well, we're down, let me update this just to make sure. 44 on the S&P cash. We had a little bit of a retest yesterday. I want to talk about some of the big things that are happening and a teachable moment, as they like to say in politics these days. Yesterday was another record volume day. And not only was it a record volume day in shares, it was a record volume day in dollars with over $1 trillion. Let me do my little Dr. Evil impression. $800. No, $1 trillion changing hands. And today, the wisdom to be imparted has been around for over 100 years. The technical term is a selling climax. I brought it up with Tim Ward a few times where I heard it first, but it really goes back to James Wyckoff. If you're unfamiliar with him, it's kind of the price and volume stuff started with him. He wrote a newsletter, I think it was called the Something of Wall Street. I can't remember now. Before the Wall Street Journal, and actually what the Wall Street Journal eventually became. I think they bought it and eventually morphed into it over time. Anyway, James Wyckoff was a big mover and shaker of the time. People would come in to his office and spout all kinds of ideas about how to actually trade the market. Over a number of years, he got to, as he said, watch over the, I've got the book too. I didn't bring it out. I'll bring it out during the next break. But well worth a read. He was the first really big newsletter writer in the markets. He had about 1 million people. This is in the 1920s, paying $100 a month for what he did. He was so big he could move the markets, and literally people would pay off people in the media to write stuff to go after his subscribers. And they would also intercept it and trade in front of it. A lot of stuff going on as the first big newsletter writer, but things truly haven't changed. Anyway, people would show up and have all kinds of different ways of beating the market. He wasn't a bad trader, but literally he got all the people that would come in that wanted news, kind of the CNBC of his time, that wanted space in his newsletter or a mention to come in. So he had a few people, and I don't remember if he ever mentioned a name, but it was the beginning around 1910 of the price and volume trader kind of stuff that went all the way through the 1920s. I think he died around 1930. I can't remember. I'll look it up during the break. But one of the first things he had was this selling climax idea. It's been moved around. But yesterday, over 18.6 billion shares. About halfway through the day today, we had about a third of that volume. So that probably tells you that yesterday was indeed a low that's going to stick for at least a little while. Doesn't mean that we don't get a retest yet again of that level, but my guess is it won't be this week. We also had record short positions 2.6 billion shares shorted yesterday. We don't know how many of those shares were covered before the end of the day. My guess is that there was some selling early in the morning by some of the big guys at the street. It happens. The reason what they'll do is they'll have short positions, and what they'll do is come in and fire for effect. If you're unfamiliar with that term, it's when you just fire every mortar and howitzer that you have and get everybody to put their head down. And what you do, you start buying other shares as everybody believes that once again, you're going to see the market cough up its cookies. But the real key is to watch the volume, as I do in the CBOE volume. And it's kind of like waiting for the big wave out there on the North Shore of Hawaii, where I grew up, by the way. And we'd go and watch the people take those 30, 60-foot waves on occasion. You don't want to be out in them, but it was kind of interesting to watch them. They weren't always 30 and 60 feet at the Bonsai Pipeline, but well worth taking a look at. But anyway, you get kind of an idea of that going on. But you know what? You get a big wave, the next one's probably not as big. Anyway, dark pool volume, as I said in my newsletter this morning, was about 30% on a going average for the last 5 years. It's about 35%. It's about 36% on average every day, in and out. So when we hit 30% yesterday, what does that tell you? There's a great deal of people that are retail traders getting involved. Dark pools are places where the traders who don't want everybody seeing what they're doing and also don't want to be fodder for the high-frequency traders mucking up their business. Those trades don't instantly show up in the market. They show up later in the day. They're supposed to be within, I think, 5 minutes, but I have yet to see anybody actually get charged for not showing it. Sometimes I see a lot of that volume show up at the end of the day. But you know what? It's that. But the teachable moment, let's go to it. Selling climax. I've got about a minute left. There's not enough. We'll start it here. As explained by Larry Williams, a update of that, the selling climax have a common time cycle pattern. According to the approach, we generally see a selling climax when there's tremendous turmoil regarding the instability of the market, and the market has been facing the heat of quite many weeks or days. The first week of the month or the last week of the month on Monday, the sell-off continues toward a recent low. Tuesday also selling intensified but close up is marginally up, creating a selling climax, Monday-Tuesday syndrome, that completes the selling climax. It consists of two drastic down days. On the second day, prices quickly reverse to close higher substantially for the day. Some selling climaxes see this pattern, with Tuesday being the real cruncher and prices closing higher on Wednesday into the Fed meeting. So is this exactly what we're looking at? No, but more than likely, this is rhyming very closely, as most things don't exactly follow suit. It's close enough for government work. The selling climax, something you should be aware of. And you put it together with volume today, probably a selling climax. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we return, as I said, history doesn't really so much repeat as it rhymes, but I like this song and Shirley Bassey.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 2004, Opportunity rover lands on the surface of Mars 3 weeks after its twin Spirit touched down on the other side of the planet. Of course, this was a kind of a double win, because 3/4 of the missions that we sent to Mars before this date failed. One famously augured into the planet at about 50,000 miles an hour. And the reason why? Well, they used English imperial measurements on one side and metric on the others. And that was kind of the end of it. They decided to make sure that everybody used one set, which was metric, for everything from then on. And, of course, these launches came down. One of the interesting things that these rovers had was Geiger counters. And it was always very interesting because I remember probably by 2006, the data was starting to come out, that in 2016, that Musk was saying that in 2021, 2020, we'd be landing men on the moon. The one interesting thing is the enormous amount of radiation that hits these missions to Mars. And like most people say, your cancer would have cancer if you put a man in anything we had, including today, 6 years after Musk said we'd be on Mars. We're not even back to the moon. But I do digress. But, Barnum and Bailey, actually to the Barnum, P.T. Barnum of many things, man of fake it until you make it, fame, still problematic. But one thing you can say is, yes, Jimmy, not Jimmy, what is this? It's not Jimmy. I don't know how to pronounce it. Looks like Jimmy, but it's not. I wonder what that is. Anyway, he says pretty big call on saying that there wouldn't be self-driving cars by this date. In fact, that's another big prognostication of Musk. That was that he'd have fully self-driving cars by 2018. Last year, he finally admitted what I'd already said, which is edge cases, those when they don't happen very often, are problematic. And of course, going to court now on that, and at least a few deaths on basically overselling self-driving cars. Autopilot, all that stuff is hard. And of course, overpromised, produced on that. And even another thing which kind of caught my eye on Tesla is yesterday's announcement that Panasonic will be making their batteries for them. And I'm kind of confused. You got a gigafactory that only has 1/4 of it filled in Las Vegas for making these batteries, but Panasonic has to make them? I'm unaware. Also, on that thing, we'll pop up a chart of Tesla. Yet another claim that his batteries are actually 200% better than they used to be. Just because you get a C battery and you replace it with a D battery doesn't mean that you're 20% or 200% or 100% or 1,000% better than you had before. But you know what? There's a lot of people that are easily fooled. And as the original P.T. Barnum said, there's a sucker born every day. You had high volume yesterday in Tesla, which broke the previous low. My guess is this is still in a downtrend and has maybe bigger problems headed for it. But probably going to see a little respite over the next couple of weeks. As March comes in, the lawsuit is going to be front and center probably through March and April, where there are a bunch of lawsuits on the Solar City deal. I still suspect that there's going to be a lot of people having to answer and say, what was that Lucy thing? Oh, you got some splaining to do, although he actually never said that. I wonder if it's in that movie. I heard it was really bad on Netflix about Lucy. I liked her, but everybody said the show probably wasn't worth watching. But that would be it. Question. But the Gigafactory is a Tesla Panasonic thing. But why would you manufacture them in Japan when you got 3/4 of a factory left in Las Vegas? I don't understand it. But I do digress. Okay, question in out there, MRVL. MRVL. And, of course, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can actually post a message in the den. No, I don't see a caller. Everything goes up. Let's go to Brent and Martina in Brent from California. How you doing, Brent?
Oh, I'm doing good, Dave. How are you?
Pretty good. The things scroll fast on fast days like this in the den. And if I'm not always looking, I don't see you, so apologize. What can we do for you today?
I just wanted to start by saying I'm enjoying your newsletter because you definitely, I think your trading style aligns very much with what I try to do. So it's been good. I'm calling today's episode "Buy When There's Blood in the Streets." I know there's been a lot of good opportunities with this volatility. I did that trade yesterday that you kind of called out, and I was able to get it down at it was funny that I was actually grocery shopping with my phone in Safeway, and I put in the trade at got down to 108. I think it got a little lower, 107, but I picked that up at 108 and I sold it, of course, yesterday before the close, and then I actually bought back in today as it got down to the 110, a little bit below 110, and so I'm in that. I'm thinking about closing again today. I guess kind of my question, if it's something you thought I should, potentially hold overnight, or I think I'm just going to close it out this afternoon, but we'll see on AMD.
I think you wait till the close, but for me, generally these trades, I want to make a lot more than, 10, 15%. What did you make yesterday?
Oh, it was good. I made, I think it was like 100% on the thing. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers again, but no, it was close to 100, I think. So.
Yeah, the problem, the newsletter or a newsletter is always, by the time I write it and get it back out, it's about 30 minutes. So if you want to be more aggressive, generally what I'll do instead of get in and out of something like that, if I've got a good position, is see it weaken this morning and then short it back down. And then I've got my risk actually well defined. You want to hang on for a second?
Yeah, sure.
We'll be back in a minute.
Are you having fun trading the markets, but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back with Brent. So any other questions on this or fine points?
No, I think I did a little different trade. I ended up going with the 110s.
Yeah.
Instead of the 115s, and that worked out fine. And then I'm kind of in a similar trade right now with because it's got down low enough. And then I did actually buy into, I bought some calls on Microsoft this morning too when it got down to that 286, and that's doing okay. I'm not sure I'm going to hold that through their earnings that are going to be tonight, but I think there's enough premium probably in there with the anticipation of the earnings. I might keep like part of it, depending on how much. If I can make enough on it, I can have something for free. Then I might just hang on to one of them, but we'll see. And I was just going to ask you real quick. Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you. Just going to ask you real quick on the one that you just did here earlier. I'm in at 90 cents, but were you going to? You'll probably send something out if you're thinking about holding that overnight. Is that right?
I'll tell you right now that I'm not selling it.
Okay. Yeah, no, it seems like it's. I was surprised this morning that there wasn't more movement that direction. I totally get what, because I was looking at the same thing, like, how is it up as much as it is, and the stocks that are related to that are not moving? So that was surprising to me, but it's starting to catch up now, I think. So. Yeah,
that showed up in my scan. I've been thinking about it. In fact, I talked to another subscriber about thinking about buying it maybe tomorrow. I thought it would be right, but no plan actually survives first contact with the enemy. Yesterday it was real quick. I didn't know when the turn was going to be, but yesterday you had that huge push down. So it could have been as early as yesterday, could have been into Wednesday. But when there's blood in the streets, you learn to go after it. And I know it's the scariest thing in the world. Always reminds me of the part from Jesse Livermore's book, where he talks about the two guys that are talking about being great shots and having a duel. And the one guy goes, the one guy says, yeah, I can break the stem of a wine glass at 20 paces. He says, well, that's very good. Are you that good when the wine glass has got a loaded pistol aimed at your heart? And that is a very different kind of thing to learn to buy when everybody believes the markets are only going lower. So, that's probably the big difference, and one of the things that changed my my trading style was literally being able to buy those lows when everybody is telling you it only goes lower. But no, I remember yesterday, like I said, it was about that same time. That's when the Dow was down at about 1,100, and I just, at some point I figured this is going to hopefully start to turn. I stepped in. It worked out okay. There's no guarantee, but at that moment, that was the time to kind of do it. So. Well, as far as I can tell, the Fed's still out here buying and pushing money into the bonds, and that's starting to come back. But anytime you see, if you get the newsletter, you saw the tables I put in there. I really like watching that dark pool number to see whether or not it's the big guys on the street or the rubes out there getting cleaned. And, you know just by that percentage whether or not it's the big guys or the little guys that are driving the market. And if it's the little guys, generally they're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, and I appreciate you have the kind of the top 10 shorts in each of the indices. That's helpful too. So, well, that's the highest. I don't know why more people don't use that. That's one of the highest correlations to having reversals. When you got a lot of people on the wrong side, it's quick money fast, as you found out yesterday. A little less so today, but I think that by Friday, both of those trades should do very well. But in risky markets, options are the best way to reduce risk. At least you have it limited. And like I said, even if you buy or sell, I can't do it that fast in a newsletter. But my general go-to is if you got 1,000 shares with options, you can always go short on the opposite side of that and have your risk really well defined in markets. So playing the opposite side of that, like this morning where you can get 2, 3, 4% on the opposite side of that and have your risk defined is just as good as buying and selling the other side of the option, right? So there's more than one way to skin a cat on those. No, it makes sense. I appreciate that, David. So just
you bet.
Have yourself a great day, and thank you for taking the call.
Thanks for subscribing, and we'll hope to hear from you soon. 877-927-6648. What else do we have here? We'll go to this one in the den before it scrolls off. LGVN. Long run? Don't know What do these guys do? Clinical stage bio companies. I think they're still going to be problematic for the bios on the small ones. If you need cash, this is what most people are avoiding. You got a nice push lower, but my guess is it's going to take a little bit longer for these out here. When you look at the IBB, you're kind of doing a doji out here. Still problematic. I would probably go upscale a little bit to a little bit better well-known biotechs that probably don't need as much cash. If you knew something about this particular company, that would change things for me. I don't know enough about it. A lot of times when you come down this hard, this long, you got no volume in it, which is good. Could you get a bounce? Yeah, I don't know how you read it, though. Like I said, I'm looking for more probable moves. You could go sideways out here. If you're talking about a longer-term trade, you've got pretty well-defined risk from $5.62 low to $8.06 today. So if you bought yesterday, that's great. You can plant your flag if you're looking about going long now. Generally, I look at coming up to the resistance and the long term is about $10. So would I chase it today? No. Does it look good? Okay. But even if it comes back up to like $10, right? That's a bounce in the downtrend, but maybe 100% bounce in the downtrend. Still, these will probably be a less probable trade. Again, everybody's worried about getting cash as interest rates go higher. Even if they do 4 rate hikes this year, that's only 1%. It's not that bad. If we get into late this year and they're doing 50% or 50-point changes, I think that's something different, but I don't think that happens. I think they're going to be slow and steady through the year, but that also makes other things happen also. So not a bad trade if you had it and bought it yesterday or at the lows today. But I'm more of a fan that this is not a bad trade, just a higher probability in ones that don't need cash. And of course, nothing like biotechs to take a flamethrower to a stack of money as they're developing drugs. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Yeah, a little discussion in the den about margin calls and stuff. And yeah, your mileage may vary a little bit because it is dependent on your broker and his relationship with you. And of course, retail brokers are different. I do remember the last one that was in the press, and that was that whole going below zero thing on the oil contract. And I remember Interactive Brokers was pretty big on the press of and people in the media were talking about that 230 and 1030 thing from them. So that's there's not, no one's going to tell you those things. They don't want people knowing a little bit too much so that they can cause problems. I imagine that everybody on the inside on the street probably knows a little bit better, but still see those dips around 230. You also tend to have another thing, which is the market on close orders. And these kind of organic mechanical things in the market tend to show blips over time. And of course, market on close orders, I think they have to be in by 3:15. But there's a whole thing with that, too, if you're not familiar with it. If you're trading at very small time frames, or getting nervous about what's happening at the close or at 10:30 or 2:30 in the day, just be aware that you see that kind of movement in it. And it's we have to infer a lot in the market. These guys are not going to tell us a whole lot about what goes on. But you'll see it as those patterns develop over time. You get used to keeping an eye on them. 877-927-6648. And the 3-day window, you got 5 minutes from Interactive Brokers last year on that contract. So futures and equities probably treated a little bit differently too. But we're in a second day out here of finding and breaking out a low. And again, if you missed the first part of this show where we talked about the selling climax, it's been a thing. It's been a thing for over 100 years and goes back to the Wyckoff days. A good thing to study. 877-927-6648. I know we've got some emails out here. CVX will fund CVX. How will fund money coming into play? Well, you're on the 25th, so you got really fund buying coming in starting next. I don't think a lot of people are going to get brave into this weekend, but to the extent that fund buying does come in, it's probably about the 3rd through the 5th of February. Generally, though, a lot of people will use that to sell off the bounce that I think is coming this week. So I don't think that, normally on average, 1% higher through that week on average. And I always use averages and talk about the statistician that had his foot in the oven and his head in the freezer. And on average, he felt pretty good. But, of course, he had a burned foot and a frozen head. So remember that in the average of out here. Anyway, on Chevron, in the church of what's working now, everybody's going to get into a fairly crowded trade in these energy stocks. But again, not a lot changing in this. You have a administration in the U.S. that's going to be very much restricting production, and that's good for anybody that's got a foot in that business already. Right? You're not going to get any more production here in the United States, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a reversal in that. From the administration. So if you restrict anything, the value of it goes higher. And certainly it's very hard to be bearish. I think we had a couple calls or emails about that earlier and late last week. Like I said, it is almost impossible for me to say that someone's going to sell these now. But you get a pullback, but $5 is nothing in Chevron. At worst, probably everybody piles into Chevron and it didn't go lower. If the markets actually base out a little bit next week, maybe you get a little higher. I think you just sit on your hands on that, kind of like you probably do in a few other sectors. If they're doing well and making new highs now, that's telling you something. 877-927-6648. So... Okay, got that. Do we know how much Yuaza? I bought a bunch of their batteries. They make very good batteries for motorcycles, which I tend to end up. My Sea-Doos and my motorcycles, all those kind of nice little toys tend to have anything, but I do not know. You got down to 192.51. And the volume is about the same down here. You didn't quite blow out the lows, but it doesn't look too bad. I'm thinking that Boeing probably has a fairly good year. We may have another 15 or 30 days. I continue to watch and follow one of the best calls on tracking the pandemic. And it certainly looks like maybe in the next week or 2 weeks, we're going to have much better news. Certainly going into the springtime, it's probably only going to get better. Doesn't mean it's going away, but I think learning to live with it, probably going to be pretty good. We continue to see around the world a lot of the planes that were sitting off and mothballed being returned to flight. And, every time we get one of these kind of reactions to numbers, it seems like we continue to make a little bit better low in these. I'm not ready to buy them yet, but my guess is maybe mid-February these things and some of the other ones in the travel sector make some lows. But I think we're, a week or 2 weeks away from it. 877-927-6648. Question about Microsoft and what do I think about earnings? I tell you what, Amazon has had a tough week in the web services business where most of its retail have. They've been off for about 3 times in the last 10 days. And, of course, you're talking about a lot of people being out of action when that. I'm not surprised that it's still kind of hugging the lows. Microsoft and Google are probably the big winners in that. Microsoft I like better because it does not have the same kind of problems that both Google and Amazon are going to have with antitrust suits. In fact, there was another one out there today that I wanted to talk about. We'll talk about it in the next segment. But there is a lot about maybe shutting the door on acquisitions, and we'll look at that in the next segment. But it's hard for me to see that the worst is probably not in for Microsoft. I think maybe they'll talk up about even just the last week of getting a lot of customers from Amazon and their problems of keeping their web services up. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you looking for a secure investment which pays you on a monthly basis? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be the program for you. The best rate on a 5-year CD in the country right now, according to Bankrate.com, is paying 1% per year or $1,000 per $100,000 invested. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly, on secured, high-value, buildable properties in St. Petersburg, Florida. The investment is for 4 years, paying 7% per year or $7,000 per $100,000 invested. Your investment is secured by high-value real estate in St. Petersburg, Florida. Your investment can be anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Do you want to make $1,000 per year on $100,000 invested or $7,000 per year on a secured Tiger First mortgage? The Tiger First Mortgage Program may be just the program for you. The Tiger First Mortgage Program pays 7% per year, paid monthly. For more information, you can call 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
As we come back, we'll do the loser of the day, at least the one I think it's out here, and tell you why. Aerojet Rocketdyne, which is a company I like. This tells you how brittle some of these buyouts are, but as we talked about it, one of the elections have consequences, and one of those is the new FEC chair, Mrs. Miss, whatever she is, Khan, who's spent her life working on antitrust suits, mostly famous for Facebook and Google and a few others out here, but throw in the cold water on this one fairly quickly. I like the company. But you can even see that last week when Microsoft was talking about buying out Activision, that they said they were going to buy it for $95 and it didn't trade at $95. And that tells you that a lot of these things are problematic if they're on the edge and they don't want to go to the mattresses, another another Godfather reference there, on the deal and fight the government about it. And of course, if you're somebody like Boeing or Lockheed, that's where your bread is buttered. Much tougher to go up against the government, if you don't have or easier if you don't have those contracts where they can put the kibosh on it. But certainly a great company. They got some neat technology. It just hasn't really come out yet. But problematic. Watch out if you're betting on buyouts. Probably a good time to start trimming those positions, because there is a new sheriff in town at the FTC, Federal Trade Commission. We're done. So when you can, not when you have to. Look forward to you tomorrow when we get ready to rumble with a Fed. See you tomorrow. Hang back.